Yep. Man, let's get it going. You know, I couldn't even really sleep like I wanted to. It's a Wednesday, and I had to pull back up. It's things moving around, and Rosalie said, you didn't sleep well last night. I said, I know. Today was my day off too. But today we got to get to some things. My guy, Adam Kaplan, he was on 92.3 The Fan the other day, and he thought he was going to get something off. See, let me just tell y'all something, man. The slander going to stop. All of the slander about to stop. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be heavy audio visual. This is one of these where you're going to have to sit back and relax and get this work, because we're going to break down a lot of different things. I'm going to break down this nonsense about Shedeur Sanders and all this character stuff. Listen, I'm going to let y'all know there's different rules out here. There's different rules of engagement out here now. If you thought that you can just throw little words out and cook, and that ain't going to happen. You see, because what they did is there's three things that transpired with this. You always got to watch how people do things undercover. But we're going to expose it. I got 3 specific receipts. We're going back in the time machine. I'm telling you, if you missed this Wednesday night service, you tripping. This is one of those ones. Get your popcorn ready. We ain't going to play with nobody. And it's going to be very, very, very interesting how we give it up here. You ain't going to, I can't even talk right now. And I ain't at a loss for words. This is G. Bush. You know what it is. We talking about, you know where we at. We in the barbershop. 43 people in here right now. Hit that like button, ready to go. I didn't put no lower thirds, no banners, no nothing. I didn't want it to distract from what I was getting into. First and foremost, let's go ahead and pull this up. We're going to set this thing up the right way, because we got to start with this. Because always understand, it always starts with this. It always is going to start with how people is reacting to certain things. And one of the things that we missed, and a lot of people missed, but they didn't miss it. Let's keep it a buck. Where is it at? I'm looking for it. Where we go? I know you in here. Oh, here we go. We're going to start with this right here. One of the things is we heard nobody talking about it. Y'all thought y'all can silence that. The Cleveland Browns came out and basically told you, Shedeur Sanders is pretty much starting. Now, it was very inconspicuous how on every single airway, how on every single platform, how on all of these airwaves, when Shedeur Sanders was getting speed tickets, you had something to say. When they was covering Kyler Murray and everybody, y'all had something to say. But the Cleveland Browns basically just dropped a whole autobiography of this cat, Shedeur Sanders. They actually came back and gave him his flowers for what he got his medal stripped last year from Kevin Stefanski. But listen, hold on, Kevin. Hold on, fellas. Oh, no, you thought y'all was slick. See, always remember, it always happens in reaction to it. You thought it was funny that the same week that Shedeur Sanders dropped this, they just dropped this entire promo. Jarvis Landry comes out, and he says, oh, man, Kevin Stefanski been fraudulent. What? Now, all of a sudden, we got dudes on the airwaves like, oh, well, let's talk about rehashing why Shedeur fell in the 5th round. Oh, no, we're not doing that. Oh, y'all thought y'all was cool. But this is what originally got him mad. Let's talk about it. We ready to go.
Shedeur Sanders arrived in the NFL with high expectations would be an understatement. But that's nothing new for this Browns quarterback.
Presented by University Hospitals, Dog DNA. Why is this missing from all of the Shedeur talk? I mean, I had to answer questions about Anthony Richardson 15 times. I had to answer questions about Kyler Murray 97 times. But this is put out by the Cleveland Browns. And everybody that sat up there and tried to insinuate that people was crazy, they gaslighted. Oh, they didn't really say anything about him. Oh, I know Shedeur showed up to see the coach. I know the coach said he was elite. I know what Myles Garrett say. But now what they do, they had to drop the entire promo. And now the dominoes are falling, but you didn't get away with it. The scorekeeper, no. 554, hit that like button.
Football has always been a part of Sanders' life. His father, Dion, is a member of both the Pro Football and College Football Hall of Fame, and from an early age, Shedeur learned what preparation, accountability, and confidence demand.
I don't think the Cleveland Browns would put up a person's stats about and kind of just making up preparation, accountability, and confidence. You think they wrote it? You think, okay.
And how necessary they are if you're going to stay in the bright lights.
A lot of people don't understand it's a lot more adversity than you think, just even being the son of Deion Sanders.
At Trinity Christian High School in Texas, with Dion calling the offense, Shedeur led his team to a state championship while developing the calm, controlled style that would define his game. That approach carried over to college. Across 2 seasons at Jackson State, Sanders posted a 23-3 record as a starter, becoming one of the most efficient quarterbacks in college football. In 2022, he was named SWAC Offensive Player of the Year.
Notice how they didn't just sit up here and post up. You notice how they didn't use any of this as this was a negative. You notice how they acknowledged what he did. You notice how they not only go out of their way, because guess what? All last year, when it was time, at this time last year, you got, and you say, G. Bush, why you got this energy? Because the energy that I got tonight is you trying it again. You think you can run stuff back, don't you? You're not slick. You think because ain't no news going on, you gonna run it back. Let's talk about character issues. The Browns just dropped this. It's funny how they gave everybody else their opportunity and flowers. We never saw this. When they drafted him, they acted like he was a pariah. And now the Browns are saying, you know what? Let's go ahead and talk about the quarterback we think we got. What's up? Cali for life. What's up? How y'all doing, chat? Let's go get him.
But he craved a bigger stage. In 2023, Sanders took his game to Colorado and changed the program's trajectory. Over 2 seasons, he rewrote the school's record book, finishing his career as Colorado's all-time leader in passing touchdowns. In 2024, he posted a 165.9 passer rating and earned Big 12 offensive.
But that don't count, though. That don't count. Them numbers was better than Mendoza's. That don't count, though. Them numbers was rivaling Caleb Williams, but them numbers don't count, though. Stop bringing up Timmy Chang, boy. Stop bringing up all these. Boy, let's keep it going. By the way, we didn't tweet this out. This is Cleveland Browns. University Hospital sponsor, Cleveland Browns. Your Cleveland Browns. They even got the big voice on this one. All the bass and everything. Ain't nobody say nothing? Oh, you thought the Pro Bowl was the beginning? Man, I see why y'all quiet. The streets is quiet. And then you done send out one of these national dudes to stir up some controversy. Oh, it's character. Oh, we got you together. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We got time today. I'm off. I'm fresh. I was going to get on the treadmill. Not today.
Player of the Year honors. The NFL draft didn't go as anyone expected, least of all Shedeur. But he stayed ready, and when the call came from the Browns with the 144th pick, Sanders knew he'd found an opportunity. Draft position only defines where the journey starts. Down that road, learning the NFL game, staying prepared, and striking when the moment was right. By the end of the year, in 8 games, Shedeur threw for 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns and was named to the Pro Bowl as a reserve. To decompress off the field, Shedeur trades one stage for another, expressing himself through music. It's another reflection of...
Oh, you see how they phrase it? He expresses himself through music. You see how we ain't using music as a distraction. You see how we not talking about the bust down AP. You see how they leaning into it. I can understand why you're big mad right now. I can understand if your blouses is all in a bunch right now. But I'm sorry, your reaction can't be slander because you know the scorekeeper is coming.
Confidence built through preparation. The only attention he's truly seeking is to the details.
Shout out to the Cleveland Browns. Shout out to, you know what we say, as always, you know what it is. Go Browns. Now, we had to set that up. You say, G. Bush, I already seen that. Why you so fired up? Because that is the prelude to what we talked to about today, boys and girls. We're going to go and we're going to do this thing on 2 tracks. Always understand this. Nothing happens in a vacuum. Everything happens for a reason, and it is an equal or lesser or opposite reaction to anything that happened. So when the Cleveland Browns came out and said this, boy, oh boy, it got people in a bunch. But not only this, notice the national media, they coalesced as well on Cleveland today. You know why? Because one Jarvis Landry came out and talked about Kevin Stefanski, talked about what was going on and why it was going on and how it was going on and what they was doing, right? So Jarvis Landry comes out and he says what he says about Kevin Stefanski. It's trending on Twitter. They ask us about it. And I just want to let you people know what we're going to do today is we're going to get in the time machine. Don't worry. We're coming back to Mr. Kaplan and what he said about Shedeur Sanders and his character issues. We will get to that. 776, hit the like button. Let's start off by saying this. I'm going to get, see, I did a lot of digging with the receipts. I did a lot of digging with the receipts. And what I want to give y'all today is to show you exactly what I've been saying on this channel prior to anybody. This is prior to Deshaun Watson. This is prior to the CU aunties and uncles. The stuff I'm about to show you today, I've been talking about when it comes to these Cleveland Browns for decades, years. Shedeur Sanders might have still been in high school when this broke off. We're going to get these local media dudes in order because what they forgot is there's a thing called the internet. So when people start to judge and try to hit you with, oh, G. Bush, is you just doing this? Listen, let me just let y'all know I keep the fresh cuts on me. Let's talk about Kevin Stefanski and his playbook. Can we get to that? No, we're not going to start with that. We're going to hear Jarvis Landry, and we're going to hear what Jarvis Landry had to say about, guess what? Kevin Stefanski always been doing this, but the local media has been covering and carrying water for Kevin for years. For years. Exhibit A. Exhibit A. This is a screenshot from the video you gonna see. You see the Barbershop logo. It says Garrett Bush. This is 4 years ago. So when people want to run around you here and tell you what they sources been saying and been doing, I got 4-year receipts. 4. You talk about Jarvis Landry. I don't know about that. Well, I'm going to go back to the time where, you know, G. Bush had been hearing some things back then. Oh, my goodness. I've been hearing some stuff back then. Y'all ready? Let's go ahead and kick this party off. Let's get to it.
Garrett, came out about a few hours ago.
Look at the young G. Bush. Look how young you was back then, my sir. Now watch how this set up. Now, always remember, I ain't got to say it. But I just want people to be quiet a little bit because they've been doing a lot of extra in these streets talking about, well, I don't know, man. Everybody else is lying, right? Everybody else is, oh, I don't know. But let me just tell you what I was hearing and what I was knowing 4 years ago.
Myles Garrett, came out about a few hours ago and said something in the press that I thought was really eye-opening. Came out and basically said that the Cleveland Browns haven't had the focus and attention to detail that he's liked coming out of a bye week.
Did you feel like you guys practiced with a sense of urgency? I mean, you know, with the stakes in this game, did you see that attention to detail that you guys have been talking about for a while?
Not as much as I wanted to, but we still got another 2 days. Guys will sharpen up, and we got leaders on this team who will make them, get prepared and get ready for Sunday, because it's not end all be all today, but when the time comes, I need everybody on their P's and Q's and ready, because to want to go home right now.
So when you hear things like this, players are not just saying this.
Is that somewhat disappointing though that it wasn't?
I mean, I'm not going to sulk or sing my head. I mean, guys go about things differently, and it's not only on us as players, it's coaches, it's everyone, having a focus on the task at hand. And
what you say? What you say? I mean, they've been. I told.
I think we all have to look in the mirror and say, obviously, if we don't win this one, there won't be any postseason for us.
What Myles Garrett is doing, he's sending warning shots. Myles Garrett has always been doing this. He's been doing this this whole year. He's done it in terms of calling out the coaching staff as far as the defense.
This is 4 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. This is 4 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. You thought I was going to forget all that? So when you insinuate that G. Bush wasn't hearing nothing and talk to nobody, this is 4 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. I was in a whole nother place. I wasn't even engaged. I wasn't even with my wife and I got right now. But I'm really confused as to why you tried to act like Jarvis Landry was capping. Because we were doing this and we were hearing this 4 years ago. I got the receipts. Stop playing with me. We're going to get to it. All first verse.
The coordinators and Joe Woods, he's done it in terms of saying that he did not back the move and get and to trade or cut or release Odell Beckham Jr. He's talked about it, that the team does not make adjustments. He's been systematically dropping little small breadcrumbs throughout throughout the entirety of the year. He's been doing this to show you I'm not excited. I'm not happy. I'm not content. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of salty. I really don't like what's going on here right now. And a lot of people in the media is not catching on to this, because one of the things that we've been seeing so far throughout this season is the entire season has become a test for Baker Mayfield.
Now watch this. This is the same program that they pulled 4 years ago. It's the same program. Remember, we talked about this 4 years ago, and they made it all about the litany test with Baker Mayfield. They ran around here and talked about whether it was Baker, the franchise quarterback. Is he good to do this? He better to do this. And the whole time, the coaching staff is sitting there setting people up for failure, taking L's, running nasty playbooks. I got the receipts. They've been pulling the same stuff for 4 years ago. So when they bring their little so-and-so and they write that stuff up there and they want to tell you everything was good before the CU aunties and aunts came over here, no, it wasn't. You was pulling the same propaganda, the same moves, and the same stuff 4 years ago. I got the proof. I told you I wasn't going to play with y'all today. I told you. You tried it. I was going to stay silent, but you tried it. All that little noise. See, you thought that you could just rerun that. See, they ain't even know, because they wasn't even here when Baker was here. They wasn't even here when Deshaun was here. They wasn't here when Jacoby Brissett was here. We can run that same playbook and get this. No, you can't. No, you can't. You've been doing the same thing. Stop it. You've been set.
The entire season has become some sort of referendum on whether Baker Mayfield can play, whether he's a franchise quarterback, whether he's tough, how hurt is he.
Sound familiar? That sound familiar to y'all? Some of the same trope? Okay.
How much money is he going to get? All of these things, this is what the season has boiled down to. The Cleveland Browns are 6-6. Yes, Baker Mayfield is the quarterback. Yes, he's their number one overall pick. But you also have to understand that there's multiple other number one picks in that room.
By the way, does it sound different? When does it sound? So when people say you just a Shedeurian, G. Bush, don't that sound like the same thing I've been speaking and kicking right now? When I say Baker Mayfield ain't the only one on the team, Shedeur Sanders ain't the only quarterback. What about everybody else? What about the coach pulling his weight? Oh, see, that's the difference. Because when you guys were on the internet, I was doing this on the internet. Yeah, I just went to the catalog and pulled that out. When you was writing articles, I was on the internet telling the truth still. Same verse. Let's keep it going.
And the only thing that you're thinking about is, oh, Myles Garrett will be fine. It's ups and downs and losing. He'll be fine until he's not. Oh, yeah, Nick Chubb is cool. Kareem Hunt, he'll be here forever. Chubb is here forever. We got receiver. Those guys, Batonio, Treader, all those.
Don't that seem crazy? Now I done named all of them people. Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry out of the league. Nick Chubb is on his last leg. He got hurt twice. Joe Batonio, Treader, they gone. Wyatt Teller, all the same people that was back then when y'all was trying to sweep it under the rug and Kevin Stefanski was wasting people's time. Guess what I told you back then?
Those guys, our offensive linemen, they're over 30. I'm not about to sit around here and take L's for the next 3 years. Stefanski's lost a large group of vets because there's no way that somebody should be saying this off a bye week. This is like you've been going for like 5 to 7 days. You ain't even been here. Like you've been off in Arizona, you've been off in different other places, and usually a bye week gets people's mind off the game. It regenerates them. They spend time with their family, maybe hang out with their kids. Maybe, some of the bumps and bruises go away because they're getting treatment. They're not tackling people. They go to warm other cities. They kind of forget about some of the stuff that was plaguing them, a couple weeks ago. Now, all of a sudden, guess what? You come right back and be like, yeah, man, I don't like to focus these last couple days. You like, well, what the heck was y'all doing? Why wouldn't you not be focused? And that just goes to show you that's not a knock about the players. When you say they're not focused, the general gets you focused. The general motivates you. The general, the leader of men, is the person he deals with the emotional aspects of the game. When you're talking about the great generals, when you're talking about Hannibal, when you talk about Caesar, when you talk about Patton, when you talk about some of the great, even Pompey, he was a great general. When you talk about Alexander the Great, when you talk about some of the great generals, they not only knew X's and O's, they were not only great tacticians in the field of battle, they were not only great strategists. They not only could make adjustments on the fly under life and death circumstances. Let me move my flank over here. Up my infantry and cavalry, where I'm going to put them at, where I'm put my archers at. These are all things that are important. But the most important thing that these generals did was they always had the pulse of the morale of their troops. They always understood that there were certain things that they had to do.
And guess what Jarvis Landry said just a couple of days ago? Kevin Stefanski, after the first year, it was just a disconnect. It just didn't seem we had the pulse of the locker room. It didn't seem like it was going correct. I don't know what was going on. This is 4 years ago. This is the reason why you should care about this is because this proves that all of those people carried water for Kevin Stefanski for years. And they tried to act like it was all the fault of the people who just got here. Boy, I tell you.
In order to keep people buying into them as a leader. As a leader, you have to have conviction when you speak. You got to understand that. And one of the things that Kevin Stefanski, when he comes in these press conferences and he's taking these L's like this does not project that you have a solution to the problem. This doesn't project you coming from a position of power. This does not project to your soldiers, yes, we took an L today, but I know exactly what we're going to do, how we're going to fix it, and then next week we're going to make sure that this never happens again. Does this sound like a guy that you think knows what the issue is?
Credit to Baltimore. They did a good job. They got, they beat us, and then we got to get to this bye week and fix some things, get healthy, unplug for a minute, and then we got Baltimore again and a stretch run.
Does that sound like a general that understands why his team, why his soldiers are taking L's on a weekly basis?
Yeah, it's frustrating. It is very frustrating to not score enough, and it's always a combination of things. It's staying on the field on third down. It's trying to run the ball effectively, get into the red zone, all those things. But we're just not doing a good enough job, and that starts with me.
Does that seem like a general, a leader, a coach that understands that this is something that I need to get my head around? I need to speak concisely. I need to speak in a way that I project power, and that this is not acceptable?
I think they played how they play. That's certainly how they play, and we just didn't run it efficiently enough. It felt like we did, Tony. I think we ended up with 17 rushes there, not for a great average, but we just didn't do anything well enough.
No, it doesn't.
I would tell you, our run game has been very good, and we've run against a lot, loaded boxes like that. So I think
Say that again, Lord Salam. The problem has been the same way before Shedeur got here. All of that noise all year that y'all, if he just had a good quarterback, if it wasn't for the nonsense he had to put up with. No, we had to put up with your nonsense, my good sir. We had to put up with your nonsense. And we're going to get to your playbook too, because it seems that people may forget that I've been breaking down film longer than you've been in this space on the internet. People I trust. I ain't tell you about people I trust. Let's go ahead and talk to you about what I know. Let's keep it going. We cooking.
As a run offense, we expect to do better than that, and we'll look at how we can.
You say the same thing over and over again.
Well, I think, we all are very frustrated. It stings. Some really good things. I thought, the defense taking the ball away 4 times, but then we get no points off.
Think about it. Your defense got 4 turnovers, and you got no points from it. But he's one good quarterback away. We treated him so poorly here.
Off of it. So, bottom line is we'll come in and we'll look at it. We'll learn from it, and then we got to get ready for a stretch run.
So then you got players who smell the blood in the water. They look around like, bro, this dude, that plan don't even sound that great. Now juxtapose what Stefanski does to what Mike Tomlin did and losing on a nationally televised game to the Minnesota Vikings.
Just to be blunt, man, we're getting handled up front on both sides of the ball, and that makes it difficult. It makes it difficult to do what we desire to do. It makes it difficult to maintain balance. It makes it difficult to dictate to our opponents, what happens or what happens next. And
do you see the difference in the directness?
We're not good in that area. We were JV again tonight, and I'm talking about up front on both sides. We lost the battle in the line of scrimmages, and that's football. We make no excuse. It is what it is. We'll turn over every stone to do that. We got a long week coming up between this and our next one. We'll make good use of that time and assess not only what we're doing, but who we're doing it with.
In which he's talking to people. Do you see that? Do you see that?
We stayed in the fight, but they're up 29 damn points at halftime. So I'm not going to make it more complex than what it is. Football is a complex yet simple game. You got to whoop blocks, you got to make tackles, you got to sustain blocks. You got to make sure your power is falling in the right direction. We're not doing those things. We're not doing those things nearly consistently enough to hang our hat and find the type of footing to have consistency in performance.
To be a general, you must have conviction, and you must convey conviction when you speak in a win or a loss.
Man, we're not whooping enough tail. We're not striking enough. We're not making the power fall the right direction enough. And so I'd be remiss. I'd be doing that group a disservice if I didn't look at all options.
In that loss, listen to the way Mike Tomlin talks about it.
A coach hadn't made a play, sustained a block, made a tackle, and I know I hadn't in a long time.
Listen to the way he never wavers. He says it's not good enough, and he calls names.
We will not be bashful about turning the stones over.
And he calls names. You got to. Sometimes people thinking like, oh, you can't call people out. You can't call people out in the media. That's a bad thing. You guys must not be understanding the great generals and the great motivators in the history of this world.
G, your takes are ageless. To be the same stand-up back then, today, that's integrity. That's why we rock with you. Keep bringing them receipts. We are here for it all. Hashtag the new Cleveland. Somebody brought something up. Adam Kaplan, we're going to get to you. We got something for you special. Don't worry about it. We're going to get to it. But since we're going down memory lane, and I know we all here, right? We all here, and we are here gathered today. I want to do something specific. I want to continue down this narrative because not everybody gets off on this one. We see what it is. See, there's a thing we talked about just now. Kevin Stefanski losing the locker room. See, sometimes your receipts and sometimes what you say, it's delayed successes, and then there's delayed consequences in life. Sometimes you say some people don't even recognize it, right? Sometimes the things you do today, just because you eat bad today don't mean it's going to kill you tomorrow. It's delayed. Just the same way that you was eating bad, now you had a week of working out. Don't mean that you're going to get small overnight. You see what I'm saying? Here's what we're going to say. Lo and behold, the same seeds that have been popping around for the Cleveland Browns, they're still here 4 years later. Now, let's take a look at this. Remember how we talked about this offense? Ain't that him with the dingy menu? So let me just give y'all something real quick. See, I just wanted to show somebody something real fast because, you know, all this noise about people talking about I've been doing this for a long time and there's people I trust and people with the EPA and people with the IRS and the people with the ATF. You got the alphabet boys out here. You got all the stats. Once again, this is 4 years ago. Have I not been trying to get Kevin Stefanski's offense good for years? 5 changes, the Browns can fix their offense. The offense been nasty. This 4 years ago. Huh? 4 years ago. Let's dig into it. Since you come around lately, guys, you want to look at PFF. Where were you at when we was breaking this down 4 years ago? I'm just asking. Yeah, I had a little time today. The alphabet boys. I had a little bit of time today. Here we go. This is name. This is name. The Browns offense always been nasty work.
Hunt and Nick Chubb need to be on the field together 80% of the time. 80 before we even get to the formation that I want to see them in, they have to be on the field 80% of the time. And the reason that those guys need to be on the field is because it adds extra stress to the defense.
Notice, I'm giving you something, and I specifically put it right here. Kevin Stefanski could not get Odell Beckham Jr. on the field. We'll get to that. And he was a playmaker. They got rid of him. He went to the Rams and won a Super Bowl in the very same year. Kevin Stefanski had prime Kareem Hunt, prime Nick Chubb. They would never play them together. Never. Couldn't find a way. Ironic that we fast forward 4 years. In a season where everybody tells us that Jimmy Haslam's crazy because they thought they were going to get 5. They thought they were going to get 7 wins. They got 5 wins. And I said, well, listen, if they can do anything with the special teams, they beat the Jets. And by the way, you took your best player off the football field at the time of Shedeur Sanders against the Tennessee Titans when you wanted to run a reverse backwards throw pass with Quinshon Judkins. Notice, again, we are talking about the same thing 4 years ago that we talking about today. Getting your playmakers on the field. And the problem that I got with this is I would have let y'all cook. But there's way too many people telling me what other people talking about when I can show you what I've been saying.
You're forced to now tackle two dominant ball carriers. They can get the ball at any given time. You can get the ball to Chubb or Hunt. You don't have to do either or. And at this point, when you don't have an Odell Beckham Jr. and you don't have consistent deep threats, the way you have to really conquer and really go after defenses is you have to stretch them east and west. And if you can't stretch them east and west, you're done, because you can't do it north and south because you don't have the personnel right now.
I didn't pull this by accident. If you've been watching film reviews, what is the biggest gripe I have with this offense? Last year, you don't have anybody that can threaten the defense north and south. Your best players are tight ends still, and you can't run the football because everything is congested. I've been saying this 4 years ago. Let's continue to roll on. And I just ain't been just telling you. I've been showing you. I like this young G. Bush. Who is he? He might have a future.
So the thought process is when you stretch people east and west, sideline to sideline, what you're forcing people to do is make sure there's assignment football, make sure that they have to run, they have to gain tackle, and one-on-one is not going to work. So when you're running those jet motions and the receivers coming in motion, and they take it and toss it to him and pitch it to him, that receiver always has 5-6 yard running head start. Imagine if that receiver had that 5-6 yard running start was Kareem Hunt. How would that be if that back or the guy coming in jet motion was Nick Chubb with 5 yards head start? Come on, man. DBs is tackling that? No.
At the end of the day, it's all about numbers. In this formation, Oklahoma has 6 blockers in the box, including the 5 offensive linemen and the second running back who's going to be a blocker on this play.
You also have a lot of different things you can do. Kareem Hunt should be in a slot.
On the other side of the ball, TCU has 7 or 8 guys who could potentially get into the run fit. They've got 3 defensive linemen at the first level, 2 linebackers stacked behind them at the second level, defensive backs on the outside as force players to each side of the formation, and even a safety who doesn't have a receiving threat and so can potentially rock down into the box.
You could put him in a slot. It's a mismatch on a linebacker.
This means that Oklahoma doesn't have the numbers to win with just a straight-ahead run play. When they pull those 2 backside linemen across the formation, however, that overloads the left side of the formation and gives the Sooners the numbers that they need.
He's too physical. He's too strong. His hands are good.
They can't block everybody in the box, but they can block everybody to one side, and that's good enough.
Why would you not be having these guys on the field all of the time? Make them guard you. Kareem Hunt and these guys need to be getting touches. They're not getting regular touches enough. They need to be in the game, and they need a game plan for both of them at the same time. You letting people off the hook by not playing them at the same time, and you don't even have the personnel to do that. So now that we talked about them being on the field 80% of the time, let's look at the formation that I think you got to run with those guys.
When using some form of 20 personnel, the extra back can be used as a lead blocker, a running back, or a receiver. And since their pre-snap alignment is the same, it's hard for the defense to know how to prepare for it.
You got the split back formation. I like the split backs with the tight end. You could also flex this out a little bit. So you can go split backs with 3 receivers, or you can go split backs, 2 wideouts, 1 slot guy. And for me, this that Wolverine package.
See, what we're going to do is let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Not only was I giving you actual plays that you could possibly run, I am giving, by the way, all those graphics are me. All those graphics, I did all those graphics. I'm also giving you personnel group.
The simplest way Norvell can utilize a second back is to send him as a lead blocker around the edge. On this play, the extra back makes the key block on this safety to turn a solid gain into a touchdown.
And what it does, it gives you some action. You can run split action off that. You can run read option off that. You can set up, you can run orbit motion and all those things after that. And those are really good plays to stretch the defense and stretch them east and west.
Offenses tend to leave backside defensive ends unblocked in order to gain an advantage on the front side of the play. To keep these players from crashing hard and chasing down the running back, teams will run read options where the quarterback can either give the ball or run it himself.
So it forces them to play assignment football. It forces them to have to make tackles.
And we already know. We already get it. Now, we are working our way to our main thesis. We have talked about, A, it's nasty work. You've been losing the team. B, the playbook's been trash. And now we working our way to the crescendo. We are working our way to the crescendo. And we talk about this. Again, I'm showing you. I keep showing you what I'm talking about. This 4 years ago, too. Sound familiar, boys and girls? See, we're embroiled in the conversation. See, sometimes if you don't really dig down and address the elephant in the room, you will always be learning a lesson, but never coming into the knowledge of it. See, 4 years ago, we talked about the Browns needing a receiver. 4 whole years, the media has promulgated all this stuff. We've been looking for a receiver ever since. Can't find one. You know why? Because you're too focused on quarterback. Everything is quarterback centric. And the media continues to not know what they've been talking about for 4 or 5 years. See, what I'm just showing you is, don't get confused. They wrong now, but they've been super wrong before. This ain't nothing new. And what I'm actually giving you is ammunition not to even be salty about it. Do the Browns need a receiver? Oh, well, look, we got the number 6 pick. Let's see if they actually draft one. But we've been talking about this a very long time. But this has a sneaky wrap in on this one. This has a sneaky invite on this one. Let's talk about it. Y'all ready?
Come to a head. The fans and the media were sold a bill of goods.
Oh,
they were sold on the fact. Oh, and I knew eventually this would come to a head. The fans and the media were sold a bill of goods. They were sold on the fact that, you don't need wide receivers. They were sold on the fact that, Kevin Stefanski and his offense is just somehow magically better with all of these other guys that are tight ends and fullbacks and running the ball down the field and play action game and bootlegs. And
sound like what they was trying to tell you with Dylan Gabriel, right? Dink and dunk and tight end packages and just so you know, we just put this together, a little something, so you can tell how the media has been acting, how they will continue to act, so you don't be surprised. We just had to get in the time machine to let you know, because we've been talking about this. Continue.
All of that stuff.
I don't know. Something happened. It was free Baker. They got it. They got that. They got a great offensive line, but all of a sudden the ball got spread to all the receivers because you can't win in this league without throwing the football, and they were winning.
And I've been saying this for 2 years.
So
that
hold on.
offense is cool.
So hold on. I was saying this for 2 years prior to the 4 years. That's 6 years. You dig what I'm putting down? I've been saying this for 2 years.
That gets you some stuff, but you can no way, shape, or form win a Super Bowl with that type of offense. You just can't. But the fans and the media were bamboozled by people spewing the same thing over and over and over and over.
Wait, this is one of the better units in football. You got 2 really good tight ends. You got both of them. Even if OBJ's not there, Higgins is real damn good too.
Propaganda is so, my goodness, propaganda is devastating.
We was talking about propaganda 4 years ago. Turns out that they still do it. Turns out that they might have even got more efficient at it. But we got better too. You know why? Because y'all ain't getting away with it. You know what it is. Scorekeeper. We ain't playing.
One of the core tenets of propaganda is regurgitating things, repetition.
Donovan People-Jones showed a little bit of talent last year. Damn, the kid they drafted out of Auburn, Anthony Schwartz, this year in the draft.
He just gave you an Anthony Schwartz reference. The kid from Auburn, Anthony Schwartz. He's not good.
He can go. So, yes, another unit where you look at it and go, it's towards the top of football.
It becomes so repetitive that subconsciously you say the same thing without even actually questioning, is this valid? Does that really make sense? Is this what my eyes are telling me? Is this what I'm seeing right now in front of me? And the question in the answer to that is no. You know, we were told almost 2 years ago, the first lie and the first narrative was Baker plays better without Odell Beckham Jr.
Is it still accurate to say they're better without him? It's 100% accurate. And listen, I would love to come on here and say, you know what, this team is going to stink without Odell Beckham Jr., or that Baker Mayfield is not going to play as well. But that's not what the film tells us. The film tells us without Odell Beckham Jr., Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback.
Yeah. That was the first step. Because that step, that lie promulgated on, and instead of...
Now remember, this all work in one unison. So we talking about narratives and lies that they keep talking about. Sound familiar? We working our way up to the, we just stay locked in. 1,600 people on a Wednesday night. Let's get it going. Hit that like button. Even if you're hating somewhere, because you can't hate. It's true.
It's only a matter of time. When you have a quarterback that needs play action, needs a great running game, needs an offensive line, needs weapons, needs tight ends, the first thing that you've done is you've hamstrung yourself. Because even if Odell Beckham Jr. is not getting the football, he does certain things that pull defenders away from the box.
They miss Odell badly, and I was never on the team to get rid of Odell. I was never on that side of things. I was like, no, I know he didn't want to be a decoy, but he helped other guys get open. He helped Donovan People-Jones. He helped Jarvis Landry. He did.
Process in which Odell Beckham Jr. takes more people out of the box. The running game looks better. You have an opportunity. Your safety can't be just lurking around. He preoccupies a large contingency of the defense, which then makes your quarterback easier to get the bootlegs. It makes it easier for Nick Chubb because it's a numbers game. There's not a safety in the box, and you can't afford to leave him one-on-one. Now you're back to having possession receiver Jarvis Landry, an unproven guy, and Donovan Peoples-Jones, who we were all high on. 2 years at the training camp, people, Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Look, we were all talking up Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Turns out we got the same media, right? Got the same media, huh?
At the training camp, people,
4 years ago.
Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Look, we were all talking up Donovan Peoples-Jones in camp. He had a great camp, had a really nice preseason. And now it's really slowed down, and it's not for lack of opportunity. He's played the most snaps of any receiver on this team. And he hasn't done a whole lot.
He's gonna be that guy.
I'm starting to wonder, is kind of what we saw last year from Donovan Peoples-Jones maybe who he is?
Yes.
Maybe he's not like this down to down, make a big impact, but he'll make some catches here and there. I'm just not as confident in Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Everybody look good when you're the backside receiver. Everybody look super good when you got a number one receiver over here taking all the targets. The problem is when you become the number one receiver, you now get that attention.
But when you start losing guys, Rashard Higgins, I think, is a guy who's like, I'm a number one. I'm good to go. Let's roll.
Bro, this looks bad. Wherever you at, we want to send shout outs to you. Condolences for you in the red headphones. You said when everything is going down, Donovan Peoples-Jones says, let's go. This young brother in the bottom right-hand corner is second guessing his whole life right now. How did I get here? How did I end up in this four square? And 4 years ago, that puts you at, I think we might all have been in our houses at this time. This right during COVID. He like, listen, I got another Zoom meeting.
You get the press coverage. Let's see if you can get off press man. Let's see if you can get deep. And the reality of it is, you can do it sometimes, but the difference between the number one and the number two is the fact that the number one can get open, the number one can get off press.
Sound like Jerry Judy, right? Sound like we talking about things that's currently happening, right?
The number one gets the double teams. If you're a number two, you slide up to the one, it ain't necessarily the same game plan, baby. But it also has another domino effect that we see with the receiving core. Last year when Baker was hot and he played well at the last part of the season, the narrative started coming up, okay, well, we don't even need receivers like that. You know, basically our best really real talk, our best game plan is with the tight ends.
The Browns' best personnel is 13. That is one back, three tight ends. Yeah. That's just the truth. That's when they're at their best because those.
I see Rex Ryan up there. You be hating. Dan Orlowski, stay hating. Now, this man came up here and said 13 personnel is they best. Watch, I'm going to bring it back, and I ain't going to say nothing else. I just want to set it up. If you in the chat, and if you are a member, and you watch the breakdowns on the post-game shows, and you watch the breakdowns for the film review, what was one thing that we talked about? We talked about this. The Browns got 75 tight ends on the field, and they're trying to split tight ends out against corners. Like that is a mismatch. Every time you're looking to get it, it's 3rd and 12. And Shedeur Sanders is back there with Harold Fanning Jr., Blake Whiteheart, and the David Njoku can't run. And they got him chipping, blocking, running 3-yard JV offense playbooks. This is 4 years ago. We watched the film, and guess what? Tell me, did anything change?
This game plan is with the tight ends.
The Browns' best personnel is 13. That is one back, three tight ends. That's just the truth. That's when they're at their best because those tight ends can block. It's like the Ravens years ago. They can block and be pass catchers. This offense is built upon the run game. So you are in your best when you're running the football and having your tight ends on the field.
Once again, it's the underdog mentality. We'd rather think that we're the smartest people in the room and that we can do it another way. There's a reason nobody else in the NFL is running 3 tight end sets. There's a reason. You guys all love the cliche. It's a copycat league. How many times have people copycatted Kevin Stefanski's 3 tight end? Look.
You should.
Bro, whoever this dude in this jean panda hat is cooking. This dude, this 4 years ago. This is crazy.
You guys all love the cliche. It's a copycat league. How many times have people copycatted Kevin Stefanski's 3 tight end? Look.
You should be able to do more stuff. You know, their 3 tight end package used to be so good, and it's kind of limited right now. Their backs used to be so dynamic. It's kind of limited right now. You know, Jarvis Landry's not separating the way he did. People's, you know, again, I know we always like to.
So let me get this straight. Dan Orlowski, you always been calling everybody out but Stefanski? We thought it was just this year. Oh, no, you've been doing this. So, yeah, you keep looking down to the right or the left, bro. What are you looking for? Ain't the play? The answer ain't on that. So you've been saying, and this is 2 weeks later. He had all of the best formation is what the tight ends. 2 weeks later, this man is looking down sheepishly to the left. Come on, Dan.
You should be able to do more stuff. You know, their 3 tight end package used to be so good, and it's kind of limited right now. Their backs used to be so dynamic. It's kind of limited right now. You know, Jarvis Landry's not separating the way he did. People's, you know, again, I know we always like to point to like, oh, the quarterback stinks.
Have you seen it? You tell me, you give me the screenshots where a competent NFL team that's a contender is their best, their players, tight ends are the focal point of their offense.
The Browns' best personnel is 13. That is one back, 3 tight ends.
You know, their 3 tight end package used to be so good, and it's kind of limited right now.
It's ridiculous and it's laughable. But we took that, right? We took it and understand and ran with it. Now that the team has one of the worst passing games in the entire league, they can't throw the ball over 10 yards. Teams are now in the box. Teams are now hanging out all over the line of scrimmage. The remedy or the fix now all of a sudden now is we need new receivers.
Here we go. Mary Kay Cabot. Mary Kay says, why the Browns' Kevin Stefanski should give up play calling to offensive coordinator Tommy Rees. And the reason I asked that question is maybe, just maybe, the offense gets a little boost, a little jolt in the arm. Do you agree with Mary Kay about this potential of handing it off, and do you think it'll happen?
I'm indifferent on it. My thing is, this is similar to last year, and it's a shame that we're just repeating history. So last year, Kevin gave up the play calling to Ken Dorsey. And when the first game, we looked at it and was like, it kind of looks the same as Kevin's play calling. It really wasn't that big of a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Then obviously you seen it became more very pass friendly. You had Jameis in there and you were utilizing Jameis to his strengths. I think that if you gave up play calling to Tommy Rees, one, you made him an OC for a reason. He was highly regarded. He had different job opportunities and head coaching jobs back in college and all of these things, and they didn't want to lose him, so they promoted him as OC.
Mm-hmm.
Thing is, it's not like him and Kevin aren't working together to come up with the play sheet.
Right.
So his input is in there. It's just literally what is Kevin just looking down and calling the plays. But both of these guys have worked together the entire week to put those plays on the play sheet. So are we just talking about the guy that's picking the play? Because that's what we're talking about? Because they both going to continue to do the same thing. And so is it that big of a difference? Is it that, because I know how you and I talk about how his plays is mid.
Yeah.
Kevin's plays is mid. I mean, Reed's got something to do with that.
I mean, you saying it's midness all the way around.
I mean, am I wrong? Are they not working hand to hand on these plays?
I mean, if it's me and you, and they like, okay, the only thing the difference is that Tyvis is calling the plays. I can't then say I was in there, because guess what? He's gonna say, hey, what do you think about this first 10 menu? Or what do you think about this on third? So I mean, here's what I will say. Even if you turn play calling over, concepts, whatever they put in and the basis of what the offense is, does not change.
That's what I'm saying. So is it really that big of a difference? So a lot of the times I can tell that Kevin likes to run what he runs, right? Like he's got his concepts and that's what it's going to be. You remember, I can't remember what game it was, but it was a game
4 years later, still talking about the same thing.
Last year, or maybe 2 years ago. I think it was when it was the Cardinals game when Deshaun Watson had the game against Cardinals and they had the backup quarterback. Remember that it was
299 yards.
It was a route they ran where they drew it up in where Amari came to the sideline and said, "This is what I'm gonna run."
Yep.
So the players.
Oh yeah, Tyvis will be back tomorrow, by the way. And on top of that, Amari Cooper drew up a play in the dirt because Kevin's playbook was so trash.
Got a little more creativity. Notice we don't have that. We don't. I don't think Judy coming to the sideline like, yeah, I just set this up. Let's run this. Like even the players know, like you got to switch things up at time. And Amari Cooper was one of the guys that actually recognized that, and that's why he was able to make some of those plays because he was able to go out there, run around, and be like, okay, this is how they playing me, so this is how I can get open. That's something that like some of our receivers, a lot of them is young, but that's something like Judy need to figure out.
So here's the thing: are the quarterbacks allowed to throw that?
You got a point there. You got to ask Kev. According to Kenny, you got to ask Kev.
I know when I was there for 100% fact, when we were struggling as an offense, I know Kevin Stefanski himself gave up play calling to AVP. The same thing that he's done, that we have guys that have told us that he's done throughout the years of not being able to get it done as a play caller and then putting it off on somebody else. Then the team gets success and then he takes over play calling again. I don't know how much history he's going to have as a head coach. But again, with this record, only thing he really got going for him is those 2-time coach of the year.
And boys and girls, as you see, I gave you a quick little tour around Cleveland Browns territory. And what I hope that really proved is a couple of things. Stop questioning who I be talking to, because I do be talking to folks. I've been breaking down film for mad years. Cat's been fraudulent, carrying water for people in propaganda. And what we just going to show you is I even have the time, energy, and effort to really keep the score. That's why they call me the scorekeeper. That's why they do it. You see, you think that y'all got away with it on a Wednesday night. You didn't. Now it's time for the thesis. You see, this thing with Shedeur Sanders and how we worked it all the way around in the circle, this is why I'm trying to be concise with you guys, is I started off with the thumbnail and I said, the scorekeeper ain't having it. Adam Kaplan was on. He was an NFL insider. That term is used loosely now. And allegedly, he's had these sources where the source game is still being regurgitated and talked about. Now we're using people around the league or people in the know. And here's what I'm going to do to this. And here's how I'm going to get to it. We're starting to establish some new rules and regulations in the game. The new rules and regulations is this. In a world where your image is money, in the world where your name means something, in a world where your reputation and your loyalty and your standing means something to people, to a group of people, all we got is our name and our word. But far too often, there are people out here that think that they can use vague terms to discredit and sully people's character and get away with it. It don't happen like that no more. You don't have that cachet, bro. I'm sorry. If you have information that you would like to put out there and it has to pertain to my character, you either can do one or two things. You can talk to me as a person face to face and we can have the conversation and I can tell you what my side of the story is. But under no circumstances is to people to be allowed to go out nowadays and just say character issues. I have a big problem with that because character means something. You're going to my credibility, my moral standing and stature. You are a journalist. Y'all people write articles and we talk for a living. Find another better word. You get paid to talk, don't you? Or you get paid to write. In terms of when we talking about the word character, if you think somebody else told you something, to me, I can't even go to it. Because here's the thing, if it was a really character issue, I don't like the blanket statement. You need to tell me exactly what you're talking about. What you mean by that character issue? Did I steal something? Did I physically assault somebody? Did I verbally assault somebody? Did I show up late to work? You need to tell the people because my reputation and my last name and my word is all I got. That's all I came up with. So when you sitting around here telling me and still continuing to put them stories out as if we don't know what it means, let's just be clear. Those are dog whistles. Those are things with hidden meanings that you're putting out there that you think is harmless. But what it really does is signals that what? He doesn't know whether or not he doesn't know whether he wants to be a good, how he want to be I'm going to let it play. But we're going to get to you, sir. We're going to get to you, sir. We got to talk about it. But FB Teams put a little note to it. But I'm going to do it the way I'm going to do it. 1,700 people in here. This is the time where you can politely have half the seats outside of the congregation if you don't like what I'm talking about. Because it ain't for everybody. But sometimes the truth hurts. Let's get to it. FB Teams did a good job of breaking this down, courtesy of 92.3 The Fan. And I must say, at least Lima had to clarify the question.
Kaplan, NFL insider, right? He comes on the 92.3, the fan show, and now he's starting to bring up something very specific. We're gonna listen to this. 1 second.
Do you believe that Shedeur has a chance to get this right, or are we just kicking the can down the road until 2027?
Now, notice the question. He asked him, his opening question was, do you think Shedeur has a chance, in quotes, to succeed? Or basically, are we kicking the can down the road to see what's in 2026? Because Shedeur going to play, and if he don't play well, we'll get a quarterback in 27. Seems like a very straightforward answer, right? Seems like a very straightforward question with a straightforward answer. That probably would have to be doing, it would have to be talked about as being, let's talk about what Shedeur is able to do film-wise or what you saw. But the thing that you always got to remember is, remember what I told you about the propaganda. See, it still happens now as it happens then. But here in today's information system, you see, we got somebody that's breaking it down that ain't going to let you get away with that, my good sir. You tried it. But watch his answer. He always reframes the question in terms of, let me put it back and to bottle you back up and to remind you what place you stay in. Remember, he asked him about what chance he has. He reverts back to the scene of the crime. And all of them revert back, if you listen to it. There's two things. They always revert back to the draft slide. Hold on now. This is where it get deep.
All right, so here's the way that they think about it, based on my conversations with people around the Browns, and also coaches who know what's going on there. Look,
how would coaches? First of all, how would coaches around the league know what's going on there? See, this is the air. This is the aura of we are in the know. You are peons. We are the people who control the narrative, control the dialogue, control the information. We decide what we know and what we gonna tell y'all. Here we go. I ain't gonna stop it too much. I'm gonna let them go.
Think about it, based on my conversations with people around the Browns, and also coaches who know what's going on there. Look, there was this belief in coaching circles that if you wanna work with the Browns, you've got to at least believe that Shedeur Sanders will be a factor in the quarterback position. Nobody's handing him the job, to be clear. But there was this belief that, look, there's talent with this guy. There's no doubt about it. As a matter of fact, I strongly believe, had there not been concerns with his character, he would not have gotten out of the third round. He's a
what? Where if it went by concerns about his character, and the problem is what he thought what he was going to do. He was going to come out and give him a backhanded compliment. He fell in the third round. I thought he was, if it wasn't for the character concerns, I thought there was no way he was getting out of the third round. You ain't going to give me that backhanded compliment. You thought that was going to disarm somebody, but they didn't. Let's continue on.
Drop back quarterback. He's not a runner. He could scramble. He's not a runner. There's a lot of talent with this guy. The question is he committed to being it? Is he talented? Is he committed to being and developing his talent?
What does that mean? What does that mean? Are you committed to developing his talent? What does that mean, my sir? No. What does that mean? Are you saying that he's lazy? Are you saying that he's ignorant? Are you saying that he's stupid? What does that little catchphrase mean? Is he invested in developing his talent? As if you did not see in the beginning of the show all of the list of accolades that he has. Let's continue to go out.
That was the issue coming to the draft.
Just as an example, you have said the alphabet 50,000 times, maybe 100,000 times in your life. We struggle to tell it backwards.
I'm going to bring that back for you. Rosie, can we bring that? Can we take the what's the name down? I'm going to read this. This is very important. They got to get this. This is very important. Let me get to this. This right here is Chase Hughes. He's a prominent expert in human behavior analysis and influence. He's a former U.S. Navy chief with over 20 years of experience in specializing in behavioral profiling, interrogation, and human intelligence operations. After his military career, Hughes founded Ellipsis Behavior Laboratories and developed the NCI system, which is widely recognized and is intelligent and transcending training for CIA agents. This man reads body language for a living. He actually has a nice little show on YouTube. If you don't want to go, check it out. You say, G. Bush, why am I telling you this? Because if you look at the top left-hand corner of the screen, and I said, now it makes all sense. It makes perfect sense now. You see, you got to go back to the scene of the crime to understand why it always repeats itself. Remember, these trails run deep. Notice the Browns first put out the Shedeur situation. And they like, man, they basically calling Shedeur quarterback one. Putting it out there, they got the, and guess what? Did you know that nobody even talked about it in the media? I wonder why. Because you know them group chats be buzzing. Just like when the Browns is cooking, I didn't hear very many people talk about that 365 he threw for. Do you? No. But think about it. They drop the video, no one says anything. Then Jarvis Landry comes out and drops a bombshell. Oh, they're in makeup mode now. Oh, they in full damage control now. Now, we can't get one of the local dudes to come up and say, Shedeur, don't be working hard and doing all that, this, that, and the third, because you would get eviscerated locally. So they bring the national guy on here and regurgitate some of the same tired talking points that they've done all year. And notice, it's during a dry period in a dry season during the calendar. So you might actually get it off because people have checked out a little bit. March Madness is going on. And you brought him up here, and you know that this is a talking point, and you know it's nationwide. You know when they talk about, the first thing they talk about is the disdain that they have for people thinking it's a conspiracy theory. The second thing they always mention is the mythical why he fell. Nobody is talking about that. He asked you a specific question, my good sir, about what do you think about Shedeur Sanders playing this year? You went break back. It always goes back to the scene of the crime. Then third, you always get multiple talking points, right? You're going to get that one, and you're going to get the one, well, he's not a scrambler. You can tell this man has rehearsed this. Not only have they rehearsed it, they continue to rehearse it. And those who can't pivot off of it simply just disappear. Where are all the people that was talking about him running backwards? They took them off the board. They took them right off the board. Listen, it's getting crazy out here. But what's happening is, see, Prime weeding y'all out. See, Prime, the Browns, AKA, are using the media to weed you all the way out. Let's go back and I'm going to let it play. Because what he's going to do is he's going to tell you, he's going to show you how you spot somebody who had already been rehearsing this thing from point A to point B, and how you spot when people ain't being honest about the situation. Because every single person who does and talks about Shedeur Sanders in terms of this movement and why he fell and the conspiracy, they all fall into the same pitfalls. And I'm going to just let you catch it. I'm going to let me bring it back. You want to bring it back? Here we go.
He comes on the 92.3, the fan show, and now he's starting to bring up something very specific. We're going to listen to this. 1 second.
Do you believe that Shedeur has a chance to get this right, or are we just kicking the can down the road until 2027?
All right, so here's the way that they think about it, based on my conversations with people around the Browns, and also coaches who know what's going on there. Look, there was this belief in coaching circles that if you want to work with the Browns, you've got to at least believe that Shedeur Sanders will be a factor in the quarterback position. Nobody's handing him the job, to be clear, but there was this belief that, look, there's talent with this guy. There's no doubt about it. As a matter of fact, I strongly believe, had there not been concerns with his character, he would not have gotten out of the third round. He's a drop back quarterback. He's not a runner. He could scramble. He's not a runner. There's a lot of talent with this guy. the question is he committed to being it? Is he talented? Is he committed to being and developing his talent? That was the issue coming to the draft.
Just as an example, you have said the alphabet 50,000 times, maybe 100,000 times in your life. We struggle to tell it backwards because we rehearsed it forwards.
That's why he dropped to the 5th round, which definitely was surprising. I'll admit it. I thought he'd go earlier. But based on the teams I spoke with who interviewed him, who talked to him before the draft, I mean, you could see why he dropped.
So if you hear one of these chronological stories going forward like that, and they're not mentioning the big event first, like if you got in a car accident, God forbid, like yesterday, and I was like, Lisa, what's going on? What happened yesterday? You're like, oh, I got in a car accident. You're not going to say, I woke up at 6:30, I brushed my teeth, and then kind of lead up into it.
Now, that was then. This is now. He's got a wonderful chance to be their quarterback of the future.
If I hear chronology, I might say something like, so you said you went to bed at 9, and that's when you kind of drove home. Take me from there and walk me backwards. What happened before that? So no matter how many times you rehearse a story in the correct order, when someone asks you to kind of walk backwards.
Remember how the conversation has evolved. Remember that.
Since he's been here, I got to defend him. He has been so likable. He's been out in the community. He seems to be a guy putting in all the work from everything we've heard. What were you hearing character-wise?
All right, it has nothing to do with off the field. We're not talking about getting in any trouble. We're talking about was he totally.
Do you see the tone switch? Do you see the urgency? See, where he caught himself was he realized that the use of the word character was a buzz phrase that was going to get hot. It's not about the off-field stuff. It's not about character. It's not about anything he did. It's just notice the energy level. Watch the angst. I mean, we just was talking about Shedeur Sanders. Is he going to be an opportunity to play? And it then devolved into this. And that is because they caught him up. They asked him to specifically give an example. Specifically. Tell me what you've been hearing that's counter to what we've been hearing over here. Because we haven't seen any of these character issues. Now the walk back is coming. You see, if you catch anybody on it and you ask them, what is it about Shedeur Sanders' interview that the teams didn't like? What about with Shedeur Sanders did you find so alarming? What about Shedeur Sanders and his attitude? Look at FB Team's face. He knows it. They done pivoted to, is he committed? How do you even know that? But you tell us on the same airwaves that Ty Simpson, you know he's a hard worker because he's a son of a coach. Well, what does that make Shedeur? This is the figure 4 leg lock, guys. There is no way around this one. Let's bring it. Hold on. I done messed. Bring it back.
You went to bed at 9, and that's when you kind of drove home. Take me from there and walk me backwards. What happened before that? So no matter how many times you rehearse a story in the correct order, when someone asks you to kind of walk backwards.
Remember how the conversation has evolved. Remember that.
Since he's been here, I got to defend him. He has been so likable. He's been out in the community. He seems to be a guy putting in all the work from everything we've heard. What were you hearing character-wise?
All right, it has nothing to do with off the field. We're not talking about getting in any trouble. We're talking about was he totally committed to being a great quarterback?
You really, really struggle. But if I asked you from right now when we sat down on these couches, what happened, and walking backwards to this morning when you woke up, you could do that.
Because it actually happened.
Because it's real.
You watch the tape, again, everything I've been told that from a talent standpoint should go no further than the 3rd round. There was no conspiracy, folks. It's such complete nonsense.
But
you notice the nervous chuckle. Why you go to the conspiracy? Nobody said it was a conspiracy. Why did you go back to it? Who told you? We weren't even on a conspiracy, my good sir. See, it seems like you got your talking points mixed up. And guess what? Yes, TL Care, Lima threw a monkey wrench in it because you know what he did? You thought this was a softball, but they got you up there and fooled you, tripped you up. See, Lima came off vacation. See, what I told you, again, if you just listen to the Barbershop, I'm just letting you know. Remember what I always talk about, political capital. I always tell you that people need to read the room. And some of the local people, when these owner meetings hit off, they reading the room. They done seen this little thing that they just dropped with Shedeur. They done seen all the writing on the wall. They're like, listen, yeah, I do this pushback and this little good cop, bad cop stuff right here. But when that football season start, we need to be all in because we're putting our money and our political capital behind the front runner. We can play these games now, but Lima flipped the script on him and hit him with that pushback. And then he got nervous. It ain't got nothing to do with, it had nothing to do with the character issue. I just said, from and then you know what you always got? For what I've been told. I'm just going by what I was told. That's the fourth or fifth one, and I already told you that I'd love to get you guys under oath. I'd love to cross-examine you. But we can only do it in the court of public opinion. We'll just do it here. Shout out to you. Allegedly.
Yeah,
allegedly.
Everything I'd been told that from a talent standpoint should go no further than the third round. There was no conspiracy, folks. It's such complete nonsense.
But if we have this chronological thing that's a rehearsed story that's not true, we really struggle to go backwards for.
For people who are plugged in, for folks who cover the league, or if you talk to coach.
Have you ever heard in a quarterback that has been playing quarterback that is the son of, and I don't even like bringing this up, but the son of an NFL player who's been playing under that NFL, playing quarterback under one of the biggest spotlights ever. He doesn't even have to play quarterback. And I think that's right. That's what it is.
That's so good. The way you explained about the ABC as well, I totally get it. Yeah. So you're recalling on your memory, and that's why you can actually say it backwards, because it's a memory versus a memorization.
Yes. Very good.
You see, as we bring this thing home, the Shedeur Sanders draft tumble was never a real thing. If you notice, most of the people and the co-conspirators seem to be missing. I don't know where they're at. Same way that they tried to get rid of the evidence when they talked about Dylan Gabriel. We went back and forth, and I told him, I said, the internet is live and well. I told you that they will remember when you did say Dylan was it. But now, since he's not that, you want to get rid of the evidence. This is the same way these conspiracies work. I don't want to, talk about the grassy knoll or whether or not Stanley Kubrick shot, Stanley Kubrick, faked the moon landing. But yeah, think about this. As we put this thing together and as we bring this thing to a close on this great Wednesday night, always remember that when you talk about life, and you talk about patterns and you talk about human nature, the thing that you have to realize is this. People are very predictive. They're very predictable. Right now, what you're seeing is energy. Right now, what you are actually watching in front of you is what I would call nervous energy. See, the Cleveland Browns is looking for people who want to play ball. Cleveland Browns looking for people who want to play ball. It's a new day. It's a new coach. It's a new quarterback. And so what we are deciding in real time is this. Are you on that side or are you on this side? New Cleveland, hashtag new Cleveland, or you still trying to play them games on the old side? But what we did in the barbershop today was we just gave you an honorable get out of jail free card. We so eloquently dropped and put down today that they've been faking and fronting Kevin Stefanski was not it from day one. Now, what I just did that wasn't for me. I already knew what I had been saying, but that was for all the people. See, you guys been saying a lot of stuff and not standing on business. I had to show the people step by step by step what I've been consistently saying and what I've been consistently doing. So for all of those out there who feel like you was getting away with subliminal joints, just know that G. Bush ain't biased about nothing. I've been standing on business for more time than you've been in this business on this side. Because over there, you might have been in the radio long as me, but I've been in the radio too. And you might have been radio and TV longer than me, and that might be true. You might have been writing articles and doing journals more than me. But when it comes to this internet thing, oh, we've been doing that. We got receipts always. So never be careful when you question my integrity level and what I've been talking about, because you tried to act like what I was saying had something to do with Shedeur Sanders and what we was doing. But I just showed the folks I've been on this business for 4 years. I've been doing the same two-step for 4 years before Shedeur was even in Colorado. I'm talking COVID. I had COVID receipts. When you say, oh, I don't trust nobody, I'm showing you I've been breaking film down when I wasn't getting no views. Let's take a look at them. It's a difference between me and you. I cook when you see you just now getting a couple of views. And guess what? I was still talking this talk back then, and look how many views I had. I don't care nothing about no views. We've been, how many I got right here? 4,000 views 4 years ago. I've been doing this before we was getting any views, before anybody, before Super Chats, before all of this. So first and foremost, I'm gonna need y'all to put some respect on my name, acting like we ain't talking about what we talking about. Second of all this nonsense about cats don't know nobody. Well, I'm gonna ask this dude around your head. Let me see who you was talking to. You ain't talked to nobody I didn't talk to. Do I gotta go back and put it in the subtitles or something? I told you he lost the locker room 4 years ago. You think we just talking. And the third thing we've established today, because we're gonna go back to. Yeah, they tried to say you was disingenuous, Amber Love. They weren't getting away with that. You can't spell disingenuous. You listen. Let's not act like you just came around a couple of weeks ago on the internet. I've been doing this, and the receipts is live and well. Alive and well. But what we're not going to do is on a other note. We're not going to do this. And I want to let the people know. When I use the term, I want to define it. Dog whistles in politics is a practice of sending out coded political messages or subtle signals which are designed to be understood only by a narrow target of audience. I don't like when you're trying to tell me that the people you talking to in a narrow group of people, that the upper elites, the people that know is in, nah. Because you're not going to put that on my character and act like you can just say, like, you got to think about this. I take it, you got to think about this. These are public figures. If I come and I pull up and I go to your wife, and I go to your wife and say, I heard your husband got character issues. You gonna want to fight. Ain't you? See how vague that is? I'm gonna go to your wife and tell her, or I'm gonna go to your children, or I'm gonna go to your mother, or I'm gonna go to and just say, hey, I'm hearing your loved one has character issues. You see what I'm saying? And by the way, you owe it to them if you say that you have to explain what you're talking about. You got to be specific. I don't want to hear nobody else say nothing else about no character, nothing. If you ain't man enough to stand on what the accusation is, you ain't man enough to say it. Is that fraudulent? Is that fraudulent? Even in the United States court of law, you have the opportunity to do what? To defend yourself in a court of law. And you have a right to stand in front of your accuser I have the right, if you gonna say something against me, whether it's slander, whether it's your word against my word, I have a right in the United States that I can go to a court of law and I should be able to look my accuser in the face and say either yes, I did or no, I did not. I don't agree. I don't think if you don't got no name, face, whatever to put to it, then you shouldn't say it. If you say, I heard you got character issues, well, then you need to stand on business or let the person who's spreading his character issues stand on it. Why you gonna be the sacrificial lamb and stand in front of all of the traffic? See, it's too much of that. Let me just tell you I got a problem with now with the character game and the way things is going. See, now you can be accused of anything. They can come in your house and say you did this. They follow you around. Oh, did you do this? Is you driving without a license? Let me check you over. Let me pull you over. Now people can say anything about anything and no consequences. It's just, I just said it and put it out there. You know why? Because right now we don't got a lot of principles and morals. If you're going to tell somebody and you're going to put that in the atmosphere, you should be able to have to stand behind that. And you got to tell them exactly what it was. Because guess what? If you tell me G. Bush got character issues, I want you to I'm imploring you to tell me exactly what I was doing. I want to know the details, all of it, down to the T. It's too much of that now. It's too much of that right now. We all 6-8 months. We 6-8 months past that. And you got people still coming up here trying to run around like listen, and I keep trying to tell this. Listen, y'all regular. I don't have to sit up here and tap dance for y'all. I got the same rights. I got the same responsibilities. I got the same freedoms. My job is not to sit up here and make you regular Joe Schmo feel comfortable. And by the way, you're regular. You don't play anything. All you do is talk. You talk about stuff for a living. I don't have to make you comfortable enough that maybe you won't write salacious things about me. Maybe you might actually give me a fair opportunity. Listen, we don't got to tap dance for you no more. We're not doing no more tap dancing. I don't have to bend the knee to regular dudes. We are regular. We don't play nothing. Listen, but even for a regular man, even for a regular person, I still believe you got something to say to somebody, say it to their face. Half of what you see and none of what you heard. And if you can't, and if the person who told you that can't stand on business, I'm not nobody's sacrificial lamb. If you want to get out there and you want to put your name behind it, stand behind it, you put your name on it, and you go out there. But as for me, you can tell me all you want to hear. But I'm going to go in there and talk about what I know. It's getting wild out here, bro. It's getting wild. These mythical, and this been happening way too much. Every single year, it's another quarterback that come up here. Every single year, it's another quarterback coming up here, and you talking about what the character issues is. The character issues ain't the fact that I won't bow down and do what you tell me you want me to do. And I won't make you feel comfortable. We don't got to make you feel comfortable. And if you're uncomfortable with what I'm talking about, then we ain't got to talk about nothing. But it's way too often you saying stuff with your chest and it's no consequences. Nah, bro. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And then you want to run back and play victim when somebody get on your timeline and say you out of pocket. Now you the victim. I don't know why they're going after me. I'm the victim now. Man, boy, y'all done got me hot. Y'all got me messed up. Because this is the same thing. They do it every single year. They waiting on it. They tried it with Makai Lemon. They didn't. Look how he answered those questions. Every single year, they got a new dude that's falling due to character issues. That's the new dog whistle. That's all that is. He ain't gonna stay in line. That's what that is. They give you the scarlet letter. He ain't gonna stay in line. Sorry, I'm cool, bro. I'm cool. And that's how we gonna keep it. But it's new rules out here, bro. I don't want to hear. I'm not trying to hear nothing. I ain't trying to audition for no national people. I don't care nothing about that. I ain't trying to hear none of that. All that, like, I ain't auditioning for you. I'm fine. I will stay my little self right here in this little studio and do my little studio shows. I'm not auditioning for none of that. These regular dudes running around here, and we got to start taking an insider. Why I need you to tell me inside? How you insider don't even live in Cleveland? How you got all this information? You don't live in Cleveland. These dudes be out here playing around, bro. They thought let me get to these super chats, man. Give me to the super chat. My producer look at me crazy. My wife like, don't do too much. Hey, don't worry, babe. I'm not gonna fumble the bag. I ain't gonna fumble the bag. She be looking at me. You said nothing, boy. My mom probably tell you, boy. I know you're passionate now. You come on back down. You come on back down. You come on now back. Don't you do it. You done gone too far. You done gone too far now. You know, they turned into like freedom fighters. My dad went to HBCU. He like, man, listen. He'd be like, you right on the line, boy. You're right. You're borderline. I ain't say no names. Who? I'm just saying. Allegedly. What's up, G. Bush? What's up with UCSS today? That was not at all. They putting bots up there. Now, I didn't even watch the show. What happened today? I don't know. Stay tuned. What's up, bro? I appreciate you. I didn't even see the show today. I've been telling y'all, shout out to UCSS. I don't be seeing, bro, because I be having a lot of different I was getting this together. By the way, I got to get the show together for Tyvis. He coming back tomorrow. We doing the tell-all book with Tyvis. 6 o'clock, members only. If you want to see Tyvis, they got the questions ready for Tyvis. You know we don't duck no smoke. You know, come on, man. It's the barbershop. G. Bush, I need you to get on the Jacoby Lane train. I like him too. I like him. In the later round. I'm thinking about 4th round, 4th, 5th. Dr. Green, what you think? You think he'll be available? You know, I like you. Chef Shay says, Bush got the roast for the gumbo looking chocolate. # cooking. Chef Shay, what's up? Dr. Green, I notice how they always show AB greeting the new free agents. I think that's interesting. The social media team is definitely # calculator. They listen. They're doing a good job of trying to change the PR. Notice, I went to we did a lot of things. We talked about this talked about it 4 years ago. You know, I always tell people, you go back and look. Sometimes I look at them old shows. And I look at those old shows and I was going across of them. I don't know why God had me go across of them. I just went back and looked. And I was up like last night. And I started going over these old shows and I started looking around and I started saying, man, you never know when your time is coming. I go back and look into them shows, and at the time I was in a 1-bedroom apartment. I was newly divorced. And all I had was just, that was my therapy. Because at the time I felt to myself that I was putting I was just putting so much into it. And I was just like, man, I'm not getting no traction. I ain't getting no traction. I was doing shows, and then I started getting awards and different things, and I was getting traction. And I still wasn't, I still, Cleveland Sea Magazine, I was a top 5 show. And I still wasn't getting traction like I wanted to. Couldn't get a regular 5-day, every day week show. And God told me, He was like, sometimes, man, when I give you a gift, sometimes I gotta show you. Your gift is good enough. You ain't got to wait on nothing. Your gift is good enough for you. You just got to trust it. So I go back and look, and I remember at that time period doing them Young G Bush shows. I went back, I said, man, that was kind of fly. That was fire. That whole angle was crazy. I'm like, dang, the way I was chopping it up, I said, bro, that was kind of cool. I mean, my flow and delivery, I wasn't as funny as I was. I mean, I wasn't seasoned. You know, I'm a little older now, but man, that's all right. And he just went to show you delayed success and delayed consequences. Sometimes what you put in ain't even gonna show and prove, but that fruit gonna always come. And then who would have known I would have did that video back then when it wasn't nobody watching and a little 4,000 views, and I would come back right now and it almost got 2,000 concurrently. That just goes to show you when you in the pocket, that's when you really on your purpose and when you're on your job and when you following what God's seeing. See, sometimes you're gonna do something and it ain't gonna be popular. Because back then, me saying what I was saying back then was not popular. Matter of fact, me saying what I was saying 8 months ago wasn't popular. But it's just all about when it comes around to fruition. You know what it is. Chris Miles Sr., thank you so much for becoming a member. We appreciate you. Welcome to the family. The Real Night King, shout out to you. Thank you for becoming a member. Welcome to the family. You would think that Kevin guy is still the coach in Cleveland. I've never seen anything like what I'm seeing from the local Cleveland media. Oh, a train of thought. What I'm trying to do is show you that's part of the, you know, how did they say that? It's part of the program. It's part of, it's built into what the system is. And what I did most importantly is what I'm trying to do is show you, don't be distracted. I'll give you a couple hours distraction over here. You know, we give you that entertainment, but what I'm showing you is their pattern to it all. Don't be distracted, because that distraction is distraction from the fact that the Browns is telling you one thing. That's why I started the show off by showing how they feel about Shedeur Sanders. The rest of this rigmarole, this is all shenanigans. This is charades. This ain't about nothing based in anything. This is all a show. So what I'm doing is going back 4 years. So when they tell you, oh yeah, we would be fine. I've never been confused. No, you're counting on the fact that these folks is new and they new to the Browns atmosphere and the Browns community, and they don't really know what y'all's propaganda and game plan is. I'm showing them what the game plan is. Don't get involved in that. Let them talk. But there's a couple things we're not going to do. You can talk about and do whatever you want to do and how you want to move it, but I'm not into the low-key, subtle character assassination stuff. That's corny. That's corny. Because here's where I'm going to understand. There are some people out here that are mindless enough to believe anything somebody with a microphone say, because you got a platform, and there has to be some responsibility with your platform. Even when I know certain things, think about that. Think about how many things I know to be true. Verified facts. And I still don't say nothing about it. You know why? Much given, much is required. To what ends does it prove? After today, we're not doing no more shows on Kevin Stefanski. March 25th, 2026. You know what it is. We came alive in 25. We ain't going to miss in 26. My job is not to sit here and keep talking about Kevin Stefanski, but what I did, the scorekeeper had to get you. Yes, a lot of people that thought y'all had got away. No, we making a list, checking it twice. We understood what was going on. We understood the assignment. Now that we've exposed what the assignment was and it didn't work, we can move on to football things. Like, what are the Browns going to do with a new regime, a new coach, a new quarterback, and what they're doing in their draft? But please don't start. Don't play me. Don't play me like that. Stop. Don't. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. No names necessary. No names necessary. Mary S. 12. G, your takes are ageless. To be the same stand-up guy back then as today, that's integrity. That's why we rock with you. Keep bringing them receipts. We are here for it all. Hashtag the new Cleveland. We appreciate you, as always. You gain more of my respect, sir. Great receipt. Mr. Geek 847. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate the super chat. Desmond Johnson says, G. Bush, what's for dinner tonight? You up here cooking, Chef Boy Bush? You have enough of the foolishness. Yeah, because I don't like that. I don't like that you had an option, because I don't like when people solicit and offer up a lie. That man, you came on the radio station and they asked you about what Shedeur Sanders could possibly do in the season this year. You jump back into an old lie that's been debunked. You jump way back into a fifth round character, bro. No, we're not doing that, bro. And what we supposed to do? Sit back and we're not going to say anything. Why? Because you're who? You just got the privilege. You just, like, think about this. How many times have I used, and we've established that I talk to people all the time. How many times have I used, well, according to people around the building, name it? It don't happen. You know why? Because I understand the game. Because understand that you and I, we are not on the same. If I said according to people around the league, you know what you would do? Everything but call me a bold-faced liar. And then have a pressure campaign to figure out how to get me to tell you who said it and then discredit them. Oh, we lying? I'm just saying. Am I cooking? Because we know that would happen, right? You think the folks are going to let you get that off? No. They're going to say, who told you that? I always told my brother, this is crazy. We was in college. I said, Bryson, if I saw your girlfriend and I happened to see her and she happened to cheat, I can't say nothing. They looked at it and said, dang, bro, that's crazy. That's your brother. I said, man, listen, 9 times out of 10, when it's been happening like that, you got an inkling she already doing it. You know it. You just don't want to come to the realization of it. Now, when I go to you as my brother and tell her, yeah, I saw her do this or she did this or whatever. No, I'm not talking about this. Is hypothetical, completely hypothetical. Shout out to my beautiful sister-in-law, Mylene, and my little niece. This is hypothetical. But if I come to you and say, yeah, this is what she doing, or your girlfriend at the time, you going to tell me, you ain't going to say nothing, but then you going to confront her. And then you think that you're going to be able to tell your wife, and you know what, that's a divorce. That's a lot of things. That could be a whole nother problem. And then you're going to go to her and you're going to tell her, yeah, I really think about divorcing you, but I'm not going to give you the source of what's going on. He has to. And then he's going to have to say it's me. Then you're going to have to choose between me and his wife. And you know how that works. I'm going to be his brother forever. But sometimes they're going to choose your wife. It is what it is. I done seen way too many things happen like that. People just miraculously get back together. And now I got to walk around you on Christmas and Thanksgiving, looking at your wife that she looking at me, looking crazy, knowing good and well I told, knowing good and well that my brother know, and knowing good and well we ain't never going to see eye to eye, never again. So what I would rather happen is you figure it out. You got to put your own work in around here, homie. You probably know what it is, and I hope you catch it. Same way with what's the name? Think about if I had the craziest sources in the world and just jumped out there and said, I heard so-and-so and so-and-so. I heard Shedeur Sanders is going to be the starting quarterback right now because you know what? The coach told me, or this person told me, or the offensive coordinator. You know what they're going to do? They're going to tell me how you know and tell me how you know. Come on, man. We know how this works. Stop playing around. Big Kev, be careful. They might send the Terminator back in time to take out the young G. Bush, that T-8000. Skynet, you better stop playing with me. Send me back in time. That's a scary thought. Think about this. This is a scary thought. If you are in a place in your life right now and they told you, we're going to send you back, but you got to take every single, you got to play it by the rules. You got to do everything you did in the past to get to your future. Could you do it? That means dating the people you dated, knowing good and well they ain't going to work out. That's crazy. Desmond Johnson, where Tyvus at? Anyway, tell him to stop prolonging it. Tyvus coming back tomorrow. Tyvus is back tomorrow. We got to sit down. It's going to be me, him. I was going to have Katie Couric do it. Or maybe on 2020s, Barbara Walters and Drew Downs. Some of y'all don't know who that is. But, yeah. Miss Bell, glad to see you in the chat. Kevin Stefanski was like, Wimpy, I'll gladly play you Tuesday for a good quarterback today. Wimpy was always eating the burgers, man. How do you have a losing coach 6 years and defend it? I've never seen such. What I had to do for y'all was to show you. I'm like, these dudes, I mean, the press had a send-off party for the guy. I think you got a raw deal, Kevin. Really? I wrote my questions down and got my money in the bank for Tyvus. He may want to call me instead. Tyvus, hey, Rosie, make sure you get Tyvus's hoodie together. He's gonna need multiple hoodies. We need him to be good and comfortable when he comes tomorrow. This is why y'all show up. This is why you show up. Beautifully Blessed says, we now have a coach with energy, real plays, and knows how to call them. He knows how to coach players. No more fake quarterback whispers. On to the new Cleveland. There you go. We want to put a bow onto that. None of this, listen, we want to get to a point, like I said, this was about closure. This was about closure. You'll probably hear some things moving forward, but the goal of this exercise was to give you those that are representing the New Cleveland, hashtag New Cleveland movement, to understand that this is a part of the cycle. It's always going to be somebody saying this and bringing you back. They want to make you forget what was the most important thing, what we started the show with. The Cleveland Browns have moved on. They've signaled that they got a quarterback that they're going to invest in. They've signaled on Twitter. They've signaled on, a lot of different places, right? Speaking of, I almost forgot this. Sometimes you do a lot and you forget a little bit. I almost forgot this, but I got y'all. Oh, here we go. Watch this. Then it came around a little bit. Courtesy of 92 through the fan.
Just sent us a very encouraging message as far as Shedeur Sanders supporters about Shedeur being their franchise quarterback, and it even have Browns insider Tony Grossi getting on board. I'm going to show you guys exactly what I mean by that, so let's keep this train rolling. All right, so as you guys can see, Cleveland Browns tweeted out 1 month till we're on the clock. Now, if you are somebody that's just not as observant as myself, you're going to keep swiping. Me, I'm very observant. I pay close attention to what's being put out there.
Shout out to MacDog TV. He was on the Barbershop. Make sure you can check out that interview. It's up on the Barbershop. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. This was on his channel as well.
Especially me as a Shedeur Sanders supporter and me being a leader of the Browns media, or one of the leaders when it comes to Shedeur Sanders. Look at the images. You got Myles Garrett, future Hall of Famer, Denzel Ward, future Hall of Famer, and at the bottom right, you have Shedeur Sanders. 5th round pick. If Shedeur Sanders was not their guy, why would they add Shedeur Sanders in this mix? They could have added Dillon Gabriel. Dillon Gabriel was a higher draft pick.
They could have added Dillon Gabriel, Quinshon Judkins. There's the defensive rookie of the year. Harold Fannin broke the rookie tight end record. They could have had a lot of people. But, by the way, that guy on top is Joe Thomas, who is also a Hall of Famer. So the messaging has been consistent.
Then Shedeur Sanders. They put Shedeur Sanders in this mix for a reason. Shedeur Sanders will be QB1. Pay close attention to what Browns reporters had to say about this tweet.
Did you find it at all funny, though, that Shedeur Sanders was included in the same social media message as Myles Garrett, Joe Thomas, and Denzel Ward?
Guys holding up the #1 jersey. You got 2 Hall of Famers, right? And Denzel is one of the best to do it in a Browns uniform.
No, he's the best since '99.
Yeah,
definitely.
Put it this way. I mean,
why wasn't Mason Graham holding up his #1 jersey up there?
216-474
yeah, I mean,
92.
but one's a linebacker, one is a defensive tackle. Like, Shedeur's a quarterback.
Yeah. I think the Browns
You're
are
always going to promote. You're always going to promote your quarterbacks in some way, and they can't.
What's the left tackle that's not on the team?
Yes. It's getting kind of late out here early. It's getting kind of late. Tired of the reference to the coach of the year for Stefanski wasn't given him by the Cleveland media not that long ago, right? Here's what I'm going to start doing. I'm not going to mention him until we get ready to play him. And I'm going to mention him as the coach down south. The coach down south, I wish him the best of luck. I hope his team performs well, except when they play against the Browns. And we're going to wish him the best of luck in his future endeavors, because I'm not going to be sidetracked by the Stefanski nonsense. So the coach down south, we'll talk about him, and hopefully he does his thing. Beautifully blessed. Who cares about how many coaches that person's talked to? Shedeur is in Cleveland Brown now, and the only people that matter are the Haslams, AB, Monken, and his teammates, and the rest is irrelevant. That is now the official statement of the Cleveland Browns. Not them, but me. I'm going to adapt this, beautifully blessed. I'm going to adopt this philosophy. I need Rosie to write this down, and I will use this when I'm on all my other platforms. Who cares about how many people liked him? I mean, who cares how many people passed on him? Who cares what people say? Only person that matters is the people in the building, his family, Andrew Berry, the Haslams, and his teammates, his offensive coordinator, coaching staff. That's it. Nobody else matters. Doesn't even matter what G. Bush say. We can support from afar, but it doesn't matter what we're saying. That's what we need to get to. That's exactly what we need to get to. Charlie X became a YouTube member. Thank you, my good sir. We appreciate you. Love you to death, and welcome to the family. Anthony LaFear asked UCSF if they would trade 624 and Shedeur Sanders for the first pick. Nah, I ain't asking them that, because they're gonna have a whole 2 weeks of questions about that. They might call me on my day off. G, would you trade Shedeur Sanders for a Barney lunch bag, 3 pairs of tube socks, the number 17th overall pick in 2092, a free ride on the bus to Cedar Side Mall, and 3 Tylenol chewables? Would you do it? Come on, man. No. What are you doing? We're not doing that. Anthony LaFear, Jason started to be more professional. How's Bull? Shout out to Bull. Bull's doing pretty good. He had his surgery. He said he's gonna come back in 2 weeks, but he's doing pretty good, man. So shout out to him. I haven't been in FaceTime with him. But look, man, I think what you're starting to see is like, look, it's starting to sink in. I told you before, when it starts to sink in, like, yo, this is about to be the quarterback. Speaking of, I'll give you this. I got the most receipts in the history of the game. How many receipts you got? How many receipts?
Turn the corner on Shedeur. I think he deserves it.
What you say? What you say now? What you say, Tony?
I've turned the corner on Shedeur. I think he deserves every chance to be the guy.
Oh, they're getting that tracker ready. That tracker is getting the cooking. Oh, yeah. That ESPN tracker is going to be cooking. He said, what? You see how I keep the receipts? I was just letting you know. I told you about the political capital, right? When all the other positions are taken off the board, all the pieces off the board, and you got to put your money behind somebody. Well, I mean, y'all saw us they was bringing in quarterbacks. We ain't even seen one. So you ain't got no choice but to play ball.
I've turned the corner on Shedeur. I think he deserves every chance to be the guy, and it's just a matter of how he performs.
What is the scenario where he doesn't play 12 games? Like
Watson takes the job and runs
what?
with it.
What?
Like, I wouldn't be shocked if we go to OTAs and Dylan Gabriel's the backup to Shedeur Sanders. I wouldn't be shocked by that. And Watson would be third on that list. Would you?
Not in April, I wouldn't.
Right.
But not in July.
Would you be shocked? Would you be shocked if Deshaun Watson is the starting quarterback? Well, we don't know who they're opening with. In week
start
one.
the season?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked, but I agree with Riz that it's more logical to start with Shedeur with Watson.
What an indictment that would be on Shedeur if Watson is your day one
hey, listen, if he doesn't beat him out, that's what you're looking at.
See how they always want to frame the argument? What an indictment. Everything is an indictment. And by the way, you mad at Deshaun because he didn't get an indictment for no. See, hold on. This is why we can't have nice things. Shedeur Sanders' college career was way better than Simpson, and he played at a higher level, better than the other first rounders. Why so much resistance to his potential? People are. I mean, there's one or two ways you can go about this. You can either be down for the cause, or you could be one of the guys who are going to be on the opposite side. But you can't be nowhere in the middle. So you got to pick one. Go get him, G. Bush. To Dre. Let's say, hey, G. Bush, you and Earl need to show together. UCSS was painful to watch today. Less than 900 watching today. Earl was struggling with them non-super chats. No, listen, let me tell you something, KCM. We appreciate you. You know, we got some. Remember, I said just keep it locked. We got some things coming. Hey, listen, let me just let you know. Barbershop ain't going nowhere. We gonna be in the building. All we doing is expanding. We gonna keep expanding. We right at home, right over here on the internet. That's what we gonna do. So you ain't gonna have to worry about us having no content. We got the content coming. Don't even get it twisted. It's coming with all kind of other people. That was kind of crazy. I paused that, but yeah. I think in the building sources is in Atlanta now. Oh, that's been guaranteed. Intel Place. Who else would know if 12 is hot and can watch film, read defense besides who is clocking in extra early to specifically watch film with him? Oh, yeah, that was easy. We all know what that is. That was Kevin Smith. We all know it. Kevin Smith. Come on, man. The people in the building, we know what that is. And the coaching staff, that's now the Atlanta Falcons coaching staff. Jay-Z told us about the word authority, GQ interview. Joe McKnight, I saw that. I'm going to let you do that. What you mean you let me? Dude, can somebody please get this man a towel so he can wipe his forehead? His blood pressure is way too high right now, and mine is rising. Mike Stephanie. Look, I brought it back down. We crescendo. It's a Wednesday. I got time off tomorrow. I ain't got nothing till 6 o'clock. I'm gonna try to work out and get it together. I think I saw your wife last night. Was that with her? Bet they'll quit talking about you or about you. Let's play. Listen, was we out last night, babe? No, that wasn't us. That wasn't us. You see how I act? I was smart. I've been watching The Interrogator too much. I'm like, hold on. I got to ask her, is we out? Miss Bell, I don't know. I went nowhere. Miss Bell, I think I saw you. It was about 12:30. When? a.m.? That wasn't me. Roderick McClendon. In the beginning was G. Bush and Quincy and then the rest. Shout out to Quincy, by the way. Debbie Garcia became a YouTube member. Thank you so much and welcome to the family. JL and his minions aren't used to a fan base that fact check and demand receipts. They look at our melanin as assume we're stupid. And we know statistics, how to critically think. See, I'm a firm believer in, I just don't like to be saying it. You know what I'm saying? I listen, I don't like to just be saying that. Like people would be saying, oh, you just look, my stuff been on camera for a lot. I mean, I got 2,000 some videos. So there's a Rolodex. Now, I ain't saying I've been right about everything. I ain't no prophet. I'm a man. I'm fallible just like the next people. I can give you some of my funniest takes that didn't come true. But the one thing that you can never say is don't say I'm not principled. Because if I was wrong about something, I would come back and correct that on the record. And be like, you know what? I said this on the record. I gotta say I was wrong on the record too. Coach Dad, Hall of Famer, used to be a quarterback, so he is best suited to raise and develop a young Shedeur to make it to the NFL as a competent quarterback. The fact it's so crazy, man. I don't get that, man. Like this just goes to show you, we are in a world where I'm in an industry where it don't take no credentials to do what we do. At least when you play football or a sport, you got to have a height requirement, a speed requirement, an agility requirement. You got to have a requirement to even, like, how can you look at that man's, how can you look at Shedeur Sanders and look at him and say, does he have the commitment to be the best quarterback he can play? Listen, my guy, he don't have to play. I'm sure that's half the problem here, because he don't have to play. People say, "Oh, Shiloh. Shiloh is rich. He got endorsement. Shiloh don't got to do nothing but blogs, and he gonna be straight." Shedeur Ben had money. What are you talking about? If he didn't want to play, why would he just, bro? You don't get to that level and do what you did at Colorado, at a Power 5 school, and then have it questioned whether or not you have the. First, it was he don't know the playbook or how to get in and out of huddle. Now it's he don't have the work ethic. But all he was doing when they was trying to embarrass him and put him on the side field was throwing extra, going to high schools throwing, staying after practice throwing. He couldn't even play in a preseason game because his arm was dead because he was throwing so much. Then it came out that he was hanging out, or Myles Garrett saw him every single day with Kevin Stefanski, going over plays. Then he's doing the hungry dogs. Then when they said he ain't in the front of the room, we showed you he was in the front of the room. Like, at some point in time, y'all got to quit. Like, we're not about to keep doing that. At some point in time, you should just be quiet and chill out. Somebody asks you a question, let's talk football. Let's talk ball. But all these little narratives about he doing this, he doing that, he ain't doing it. Come on, bro. Out of pocket, bro. Because now watch. If athletes started doing that to media members, then you would cry foul. Well, that's classy of you. I mean, that's classy of you. I mean, you're going to talk about me and you're going to talk about this. Like, come on, bro. We know how this plays out. Let's just quit the games. I liked how Ty Simpson started now, as if his agent called Dan O and said, hey, can you hype him up for me? Get on and go to number #Subsec, New Cleveland, I don't know how to say it. New Cleveland ain't that it. Oh, New Cleveland ain't having it. There you go. There you go. I got it. Yeah, that's the way it goes. I ain't even mad about the Ty Simpson. You know how they gonna go. They're gonna talk him up. That's what the agent gonna do. I'm gonna get him to talk it up. Drum the beat up. That's what they gonna do. Have you ever been starstruck? If so, who was it? That's a great question. Let me see. Like the most famous person I ever met. That's a very good question. Who's the most famous person I ever met? Man. Let me think. I want to think about this, because this is a very good question. Most famous person I've ever met. Have I ever been starstruck? No, that don't count. It's gonna sound crazy for me to say this. It sound crazy to say this, but man, that's kind of wild. Well, so I grew up in Canton. So LeBron James used to be out all the time. But LeBron James is way younger, is younger than me. So, you know what I'm saying? He's like 3 years younger than me. So I played basketball in a grade older. So I used to see him all the time, and it's like, it ain't even crazy like that. I have not been starstruck like where it's like crazy. Now, I wouldn't want to be around, like everybody got these couple people that you know that you got that I wouldn't want to be around. Like I'm like, because I don't like fanning out. Like, let me see. I used to have the biggest crush on, this is crazy. I used to have the biggest crush in the world on Kelly Rowland. They'd be like, everybody would be like, and who else? Carrie Hilson. I used to think Carrie Hilson was I'm like, yo, Carrie Hilson and Kelly Rowland. I don't know if it was about the K's, but I told myself, like, it was funny because I was like, Bryce was like, man, my brother used to always talk about it. He's like, man, what if you was in the same area as them? I said, I ain't never doing that. I said, bro, I don't like that. I don't like feeling like I don't like being corny. Like, I don't like that. Like, I'm not gonna be seeing somebody and then just be looking and staring at them. I'm gonna play it cool, or I'm gonna go the other way. Like, that's not gonna happen. Like nowadays I do that. Like, this is funny because now I don't know, maybe y'all tell me if I'm tripping. Y'all tell me if I'm tripping. Like, I told my wife this. I said, man, back before when I was single, like, I used to never be like, you know how people used to be like, oh my goodness. Like, I'm like, oh, that's just a friend. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we cool. Like, I talk to, you know, nice looking, you know, ladies, and we have conversations and be cool. I never had no problem, right? Never had no problems. Man, I got married. Man, I'll be like, if you're a fan, I'll like watch the show. I'll take pictures, whatever. I still freaks me out. People want to take pictures, but like if it's like a super attractive, I'm going out of the way. No, I'm going that way. I ain't even messing around with y'all at all. I told my mom, I said, man, I'll be kind of nervous now. I don't even put myself in no situation. I'll be at the house. I'll be like, I gotta go home. Somebody was like, man, come on, man. You ain't doing it. I said, nah, man. Am I crazy for that? Let me see. Let me get down to the comment section. Let me get to the comment section. Yeah, I can't do that. I'll be moving away. No, I'm going to the crib. No, we're not going to do that. Look, nope, nah, I got to go. Look. Yep. Yeah. I was starstruck by a CEO of a bank when we got on the elevator. He got in the elevator with me. I'll be looking at the ground. I don't do none of that. Hey, look, stay safe. Hey, look. Hey, Joe McKnight, same way. Hey, listen, TL Care, do not put yourself in a situation. Nah, I understand. I'm the same way. I'm a homebody. I got to go. Hey, Coach CJ, my fellas know. Nope, I do not get caught in these shenanigans. Listen, I can't afford it. And you know what I always give it, and we'll get to this and before we get out here. We got a couple more super chats. You know, that's so crazy is I'm always with my wife anyway. So I said, man, so we actually, I mean, she with me when I work, she with me when I get to the spot, and I always commend her. I said, man, you know what? You don't even give me no reason, man. I really love my relationship, but also she ain't dumb. My wife, she always say, listen, when we be going somewhere, she be like, if I get my keys and it's 10 o'clock, I get them keys. I get them keys. And then all of a sudden, she be like, where you going? Where you going? Yeah, I'm going down the street. No. I'll go with you. Let me get my little purse on. Let me get my stuff on. Don't even worry about it. It's just down the street. Listen, let me get my. I'm like, yeah, she goes everywhere. Ain't playing no much. Let's see. Let me go with this. Miss Melanie Jason Lloyd doesn't know what integrity is. I'll stop saying disingenuous or has cognitive dissonance. I'm not in the media. I can say it. He's a journalist. He needs to go right for the shade room. The shade room used to jump back in the day. I don't even know if still got a shade room. Coach of the year means nothing. I won front yard of the year 3 times. We need a podcast where you tie Earl and yourself. Call it the 3 Kings of Media ASAP. Y'all know my no pass. No, G. Bush. I was saying you need to say that to them. Oh, now I get it. I see what you're saying. Legendary 12 fan for life. My mother would call those peace-breaking lies. Cook, G. Bush. Right. Like, I'm going to just go back this way. Let me just go back this way, man. You know, with that being said, you never know when G. Bush might show up, radio, television, internet, but if you want the fresh cut on sports, I keep the Clippers with me. Have a great rest of your evening. And like I always said, man, y'all can always tell me what we got going on. It's always go Browns.